So this Money Smart class is over disasters and financial preparation and recovery. Like Till spoke about earlier, it's very timely for what's going on right now, and what can happen in the future. I mean, we didn't think it was going to get worse than this, but who knows what life's going to throw at us. So hopefully we, after taking this course, will be prepared, a little bit prepared to handle disasters and financial situations that we have here in the future. So what we're going to focus on are things that affect your finances. So we're going to stay in that range. But we know that financial disasters can have a range of effects on your life. So we're just going to focus on the ones that are financial. The reason why we want to go over this is because if you're prepared, it can save you time, money, and stress. Because you already have a plan in place to handle it. It's still going to be a stressful event, but when you have a plan, you feel like you're more in control, and that eases the stress of the situation for you. So how disasters can affect your finances. The cost of meeting immediate needs. I know right now with COVID-19, the one thing that we have noticed is that the price of just basics have gone up. Milk, eggs, cheese, and everybody needs food. So sometimes when there is a disaster, there's stores that take advantage of that, and they may raise the price of some of the items that they sell because of the demand for it. The cost of repairing or replacing your items. If your home's damaged, your car gets damaged from floodwaters or something like that, in order for you to either replace it or repair it, there's a cost for that. Ongoing cost of items that you need. Identity theft, scams. I know that there's a lot of scams right now with COVID-19 where they have the same day, they're claiming that they have same day tests. So whenever there is room for opportunity for scammers, they'll take advantage of it. And unfortunately, during disasters, when you're already hit hard, some of them come out of the woodwork to hit you again. So watching out for that. Access to financial resources, lending, grants, loans, FEMA, programs that they have out there set aside money just for these situations right now because of disasters. Penalties for missing late payments will handle that as well. Sometimes you're able to call your credit card companies, loan companies, banks, mortgage, your rental office, and sometimes you explain what's going on and you can show proof. They'll help you with some of your like late fees or give you an extension on your payments. So making sure that you communicate with your companies as you're going through the process of a disaster. Don't forget about them. It works better if you do communicate with them. So some examples of disasters. Floods. I know right now we have a lot of people out here from Louisiana. I know Houston was afraid they're going to get hit pretty hard this last time. We have tornadoes, we have hurricanes, we have fires. So those are just some of the ones that I can think of. But there's also, I think, earthquakes. I don't think we have very many of those. I think those are mainly like Oklahoma. I think those are the closest ones that we've had, that we've experienced here in this area. But no matter the type of disaster, it can disrupt your life, individuals and their families. So we just want to make sure that we're prepared. They can strain us mentally, physically, emotionally, and financially. So disasters can affect all areas of your life. So we want to make sure that we prepare in advance. So we want to make sure that we have a plan. I have a book. I was telling Teal that at the FEMA website, they actually have a packet. It's this one right here, visit ready.gov. So that way you have a packet where you put all of your personal information in there. So that way you have it all in one place. So if something does happen, you need to leave your home immediately. You have that bag, you have that safe where it's readily available, where you can grab it. You have everything that you need in one place so that you can leave and have it all with you. That would save you time. And it's also hard. It's hard to kind of replace some of that stuff. I know right now with driver's licenses, they've extended some of the expired ones so people can still take them because of the delays with getting those because of COVID-19. So if you have everything together, then maybe you don't have to worry about that because you already have it. And you were able to take it with you when you were able to evacuate for whatever reason. If a disaster occurs, the government and disaster relief organizations will try to help you. This right here is a good website that you can go to that has links to different resources. So if you are experiencing or affected by a disaster, natural or man-made, that they have links in there to help you. A lot of resources. And also check your local as well, because they may have resources for you as well. Also being patient with yourself and with the situation. There's going to be things that are going to happen, just like with your driver's license. You may not be able to get that, but maybe work on getting something else. So try not to get stuck or discouraged. It takes a while to recover. It's not going to happen overnight. So just prepare. If you're prepared, also you won't have as much anxiety about the situation because you have a plan. And your plan may have hiccups, but at least you have a rough idea of what you're going to do if X, Y, and Z happens. If you get evacuated from because of a hurricane or something like that. Hey, we're going to listen to it. We have this suitcase packed. We have some food. We have our gas can ready. We're going to drive to San Marcos and stay with my aunt. We've already talked about this beforehand. We filled up our tank. We have cash. We boarded up the house. X, Y, and Z. You can feel a little bit more confident about leaving your home if you kind of were able to prepare in advance instead of just running out of the house and not being able to prepare in advance. It can increase your options in an emergency and make recovery a lot quicker too if you're prepared. Excuse me. Ready.gov is a great place to prepare, more generally for disasters. I would definitely encourage you guys to visit that website because we never know what's going to happen. So if we wait, it may be too late. But if you go there, just check it out and have those resources ready for you. Maybe print it out or even save it on your phone. So if something does happen, you have your phone. You already have those resources there. You can just click and it'll take you to the links, and it'll save you a lot of stress if something happens. So we're just going to consider some ways to prepare financially for disasters. No one will ever be 100% prepared for a disaster, so we're not expecting that after this lesson that's what's going to happen. There's tons of different types of disasters that can happen, and they affect people differently. And we know that all situations are unique, so just remember that. You want to make sure that you have your insurance card. You set aside some money in an emergency savings fund. Keep some cash in a safe place. I just want to interject there. The mattress is not a safe place. Working at the bank, I don't know what it is about the mattress, but if someone's going to take some money from you, the first place they're going to look is that mattress. So I suggest if you're going to keep it somewhere, let that not be the place. Do something unique. I don't know. I don't think the sock in the drawer will work either, but maybe get those like Coke cans that look like a Coke, and you can put some money in there and hide it in the cabinet or something like that. But do better. Don't do the mattress. Signing up for direct deposit. The reason why that's important is because if you have to go and pick up your check from your job site and your job site's closed because of COVID-19, then there could be a delay and they actually have to mail you your check. And I actually spoke to a young lady the other day, and that's what pushed her to get a direct deposit was FedEx dropped off their checks, and it was during the days earlier last week where we got a bunch of rain. And she said it looked like they just dropped it in a big puddle and left it there. So when they opened up their checks that were mailed to them, they were falling apart. So with direct deposit, no matter where you are, as long as you have your debit card, then you have access to that cash. You don't have to go to a physical place to go pick it up, and then go to the bank as well and deposit it. So I know some banks, the lobbies are closed, so it'll save you some steps there. Consider online and mobile banking. That's important. That way you can monitor your account from anywhere and know what's going on with your account for the most part in real time. So that way you're in the know. Because like I said, during this time, there's scammers and stuff that are out there that take advantage of the situation. And so if you are not monitoring your bank account, either through online or through the mobile app, then you may be missing some craziness that could be happening with your account because of what's going on. Keep your financial documents and information in a safe place. That's anytime you want to do that. I know that they're breaking into mailboxes and all kinds of craziness right now because of this. So we'll talk a little bit more in detail about the insurance and its importance. Insurance is critical support after disasters, and you want to get it before you need it. Because a lot of insurance companies, what they do is they have a period of time from when you purchased it to when you can actually use it. So if something's already happened and then you purchase insurance, they're not going to backdate it to cover what happened in the past. So you want to get it before you need it. You can shop around. There's all different types of companies that are out there, and you can find one that would probably fit your needs and your budget. So that's a good one. You want to review your policies to know what's covered and what is not covered, and you want to keep those records stored properly as well. What types of insurance could help you better prepare? Automobile, disability, life, renters, homeowners. I think here in Texas you have to have at least liability insurance on your vehicle if you're driving. Disability insurance, that's something that's also offered. You can normally call your car company if you have auto insurance, and they normally sell that too. So you can reach out to your existing policyholder and see if they offer these other types of products as well. Life, renters, homeowners. I know if you are a renter, sometimes you have to get a policy before you can even move in. So that way if something does happen while you're in that apartment, that you're covered. And then homeowners insurance. And then they have a guide in here. It's at www.insureyouonline.org, and you can search for inventory, and it has like the name of licensed realtors, insurance agents out there, because there's a lot that do it on the side, but you don't know what they're really doing with your money. So just make sure that if you do find someone who's selling insurance, maybe somebody who's coming door to door, dropping off their card, just do a little bit of homework on them just to make sure that they are licensed and your money's actually going to go for what you're wanting to go for. This right here is in the participant guide. If you want, it's something that you can do at your leisure just to know what you want to cover for your insurance, what's important for you, and if you need it, if it's something that you actually need. Set aside money in an emergency fund. Why have an emergency fund? Money saved is for emergencies. There's a lot of things that can happen out there, and so if you have money set aside, and you can set that dollar amount to whatever you would feel comfortable with. So for my dad, he might have a certain amount that he wants to save, and that's what he feels comfortable with, or that he can actually financially do. And then I have a dollar amount in mind. For everybody, that's going to be different. But if an unexpected event like a disaster happens, you have that money over to the side so that it can assist you. For example, the people who evacuated here recently from Houston, we've seen a lot of those, and they're staying at a hotel. I know that there was some funding for that, but some people had to pay out of pocket. You had to pay for the gas to drive from Houston to here. So if you don't have the money for that, then you would be stuck in the situation that you're in because you don't have the money to get out of it. So it's very, very good idea to have one of those guys set up. And like I said, if that emergency fund is at home, please make sure that it's somewhere secure, private, you don't tell anybody about it, and it's not under your mattress. And you can also avoid creating debt. I know that there's a lot of lending companies out there, and that's what they prey on, is that when you're in an emergency, you don't have time to get it, I call it the right way, but it's actually probably the cheapest way. So you go to a payday lender, yes, you may get your money right away, but what are you paying for that service? How much is that going to cost you? It could be 30%, 40%. And then, of course, if you couldn't afford to pay for your emergency, sometimes how are you going to pay the funds back for that? So it can kind of snowball, and then, of course, it's going to mess with your credit and things like that. So if you're better prepared, then you won't find yourself in those type of situations. So it'll help you with that as well. And also peace of mind. If you know that that something comes up and you know that you can handle it, it's less stressful. So it'll help with that. Building an emergency savings fund, it could be something to make sure that's realistic. It takes time and commitment. It's a cycle. It's still worth doing, and it's an important step to improve your financial health and stability. With this one, like I said, you set the dollar amount. So if, let's say, I'm trying to think, what, we don't really get too much craziness here in Texas. I know mainly like flooding, right? I think flooding is the biggest one. So let's say you're in like a flood area. So what would happen? What's your plan if you were to be evacuated from your home because of that? You would have to save some money because you need somewhere to stay. What happens if your car is affected by that and your car's messed up? You'll have to purchase another vehicle. You'll have to replace the things in the house if they're damaged. And so those are some things that you can look at. It kind of just give you like a guide as to how much you need to save in order for you to be able to achieve the things that you need to achieve, think you need to achieve if something like that were to happen. The one thing they do, I was talking about the dollar amount, they do suggest at least 500 to 1,000 for that to be your savings goal for an emergency, but start small. So you can start by saving your change, your dollar bills. Some people even do save their fives, and just have it grow over time. So that way they have that there, or they have 10% coming from their check going into their savings, or 20%, or whatever works best for you, to make sure that you can make that goal happen. And don't get discouraged. You may have that emergency fund, and then your car breaks down or something like that. You have that money, you use it because you need it, and then you just build it back up again. But don't get discouraged by that either. It's not an easy process because life is always coming up with something. So you just got to roll with the punches, take care of what you need to take care of, and then start it back again. That's what they're talking about with the cycle. It doesn't stop because life keeps happening. And then also, let's say you don't have, everything's good. Then the savings can just keep building. You can use it for retirement. You can use it for something else. So if you have that 1,000, you're like, hey man, I reached 1,000. keep making it grow. You could use that for something else, but you want to keep that 5 or the 1,000 in there just in case for emergencies. But if you exceed that, that's even greater. That's good. Keep some cash in a safe place. Like I said, no mattresses. Cash may be the only option after a disaster, because I know some stores, like if they lose power, they don't have the merchant services system to where you can swipe your card to pay for your stuff, so you may have to use cash for that. And you want it to be accessible. And then that's what I was talking about with the bag, the suitcase. They call it a bug out bag or go bag or a bob bag. So that way, when you are in an emergency, you can just grab that suitcase. It already has the money in there, has your clothing, and maybe you have some food in there, water, whatever you think you're going to need when you have to evacuate. So that way you're ready. You don't want it to be a bunch of cash, because especially if you have people coming in and out of your home, and you don't want to tell anybody about it outside of your immediate family or those who live with you, just in case. Times are hard. You don't want to tempt anybody to go in there and get it from you before you actually can use it. With the safe, they do have safes at the store that you can buy that have like a key or a combo. So you can buy those, and some of them are also like fireproof. So you can look into those. I think those are like 30 or 40 bucks, and I'm sure if you go on Amazon, you'll probably find one even cheaper than that. Signing up for direct deposit. With direct deposit, it goes straight to your account as long as you have your debit card or your routing number and account number. You have access to those funds, so that way you don't have to go physically pick up a check, or if you live somewhere and they break into the mailbox and then there's your check and it gets washed, and then they have to replace your check. So it's safer to have it direct deposited than a physical check. If you have to leave your area, let's say you have a credit union. Credit unions are normally only in their community that they serve. So let's say you have to leave here and you go to California. You go there, you don't have access to your money because they don't have that financial institution in that area. So you don't have to worry about that because you have your debit card, you have your routing number and account number, so that way you can go to the ATM if you need to, or do a cash advance to get cash. If you don't already have an account, you may want to consider one. It's a safe place for you to put your money. It's also insured as well. So if something were to happen to that bank, you're insured. So that money that's in the bank, as long as you go through the policy, you can get it back. Whereas with cash, it's gone. So just keep that in mind, especially under that mattress. They also, let me go back to that. With that, they also have another class. It's called You Can Bank on It, that has more information about the importance of banking. And so if you guys want, you can go to the Money Smart website, on the FDIC website, and go to Money Smart, and it's You Can Bank on It for more information on that. Consider arranging for online or mobile banking. So like we're talking about, some of the lobbies are closed, and sometimes if you call the bank, because the lobbies are closed, everybody's probably calling the bank to check on their accounts, ask their normal questions that they can't ask in person. And so in order to save yourself some time and frustration on being on hold forever, if you have it through online banking, mobile banking, you can see what's going on with the account. So for security reasons, it's good for that. But you can also pay bills through there. I know that if you go to like the company's website sometimes to pay their bills, you're giving them the routing number and account number or your debit card number, so you don't have as much control. But a lot of the banks let you do bill pay through their websites, and with that you have more control. You can say when they can take it out, if you want it automatically, how much, And if you want to cancel that, then you can cancel it through that. It's a little bit easier than going through the company. You can also deposit checks. So if you do get paid paper checks, or someone gives you a check for whatever reason, you can normally take a picture of it and do mobile deposit and put it in your account that way. That way you don't have to go to the bank if it's closed. And it's also safer sometimes than doing the night drop that they have there as well. You can also do other transactions as well through mobile banking. You can like maybe freeze your debit card if you're like, hey, I think it's here, but I'm not 100%. I'm not sure. I don't want to commit to go ahead and closing it out. You can go ahead and freeze it through the app. So just check with your bank, and they'll let you know all of the features that they have. Normally, if you go to their website, they'll tell you about the features that they have through their online banking. And you can also communicate with your financial institution. Some of them have where you can chat, so that way you can get your questions answered that way too. Keep financial documents and information in a safe place. Hard copy records out, like you put in a fire-resistant box or a safe, or your bug-out bag. Safe deposit box at a financial institution. You can also scan and email securely to yourself. That's what I normally do, because it's easier for me to find the document if I save it a certain way and then search for it. You can also do maybe a USB. So that way you can save everything to the USB drive, put it in your bag or your box, and you have all your information there without having to have all your paperwork, your physical paperwork with you. Electronic records, password protected format, secure offsite data storage service. And you want to make sure that they're updated, because let's say you had Wells Fargo and then you changed to Chase. So you want to make sure that when you move from Wells Fargo to Chase, that you update the information that you have in there. That way it's accurate for you. Let's see. Emergency Financial Aid Kit. That's a packet that you can get through the FEMA website, and it's pretty hefty. I'm going to take it off real fast so I can show you guys. Right. I'm just going to show you guys. This is the packet. It is very hefty. But what I was telling Miss Teal is that it also would be good if you were older, or you're sick and someone passes away. You have all the information, financial records, insurance information. It asks for all that. It's all in one place, so it would also be good for that. I'm going to work on mine. I haven't done it yet, but I will. Fingers crossed before the end of the week. So they have that packet there that you can have, and I believe you can also save it as a PDF. So if you're not a paper person, you can just type in the information there. You can save it under a file, or you can print it out and put it somewhere, whatever you guys feel comfortable. But it's at FEMA.gov and search for EFFAK. So it's designed to save you money, to lessen the stress, by making sure that you're prepared financially for a disaster. We're going to go ahead and go to section 2. And so in the second section, it's road to recovery, because no one knows when a disaster is going to happen. And even if you're prepared, there are things that it's going to affect regardless. And so this section goes over okay, yes, this happened. What can we do to make it better? So develop an initial plan to recover financially from the disaster and watch out for scams. Like we were talking about earlier, anytime there's an opportunity for a scammer to make some money and they don't care who the victim is, they do. We're seeing a lot of that right now, so maybe if we have time, I'll tell you guys a story. Sorry, let me skip this. Okay. So this is a group project, but we're just going to talk about each one of these. So after a disaster, there's things that may happen to your property, to your home, job, income, bills, expenses, and protecting your money. So with your property, it may have been damaged. You're not able to go there, so you have to find shelter somewhere. So that would be something that you need. Your job that may have been there may not be there anymore, or your job's still there, but because of whatever happened, you weren't able to go into work. They couldn't hold your job. So you may have lost it. So you may be in the process of not only losing your home, but your job, but of course your bills are still there. And so we're going to talk about some things that we can do to help with those. Access and document the damage. So if you have damage to your home, you want to go in there, take a picture of all that damage, report it to your insurance provider, and then find a safe place to store cash and valuables. And arrange for alternative transportation. So if your car's got messed up or broke down or whatever, you can look into like Uber, Lyft, maybe a family friend who can help you go from point A to B until you're able to replace the vehicle. Repair, replace, or borrow assistive technology you use that was damaged. So if you had a laptop or something like that, and because of what happened, it was damaged, you have to pay to replace it, to either replace it or get it fixed. For your home, if you're able to, continue to make payments or contact the lender or landlord, access and document the damage just like you would on your other property. Contact your insurance providers and let them know that you had damage to your home. Contact your landlord about the damage if you rent. And then you can also get help from HUD Certified Housing Counseling Agency. And so HUD is an agency, a government agency that is designed to help you keep your home. And so they have lots of programs out there to help you with that, and also lots of resources. So that is a good website for you guys to check out, even outside of a natural disaster or any type of disaster. They're a good resource for you to use in helping you keep your property. For income and job, you want to contact your employer, maybe explain the situation and see if they can work with you and be flexible with you about what happens, and maybe hold your job or maybe offer you some other type of support. Contact your benefits provider, so your HR department at your job, because maybe you have supplemental insurance or something like that that will help you during this time. Keep track of your work days lost. Care for your service animal and repair assistive technology. Contact your disability insurance provider. Explore public benefits. Contact your life insurance providers. Contact schools and financial aid offices. Let's see. For the So for the Explore Public Benefits, you can visit benefits.gov or disasterassistance.gov for resources that can help you during that time. If there are any fatalities, contact the life insurance provider and file a claim if that person did have insurance or you had insurance on that person. If they're a student, then that's when you want to contact the school and the financial aid office so that they know that that person's no longer with us. Continue paying your bills if possible. Paying late or not at all can result in fees, interest charges, and damage to your credit scores. With that, communicate with the companies and maybe explaining the situation. Sometimes you can write a letter explaining what happened, and sometimes they work with you. But definitely just keep in communication with them about that. You don't want to not communicate with them because they don't know what's going on, and that can hurt your credit. Contact your financial institutions. With that one, the reason why you want to do that is because, let's say I live here in Texas, but because whatever happened, I have to go to Colorado. And so if I've never been to Colorado, then they may flag my card as fraud. So communicating with them and letting them know, like, hey, I'm going to be in Colorado for a while. Can you please flag my account that I'm out there? That way my card will work while I'm traveling. You want to contact the post office because let's say you had damage to your home, you're not living there, then you may want to stop the mail that's going there so before someone else intercepts it and takes it, like your check or anything like that from you. So contact your post office and make sure that you hold your mail. You can also contact your creditors because if you're in a situation where you can't pay, they normally have programs or payment plans that they can offer to help you before it starts affecting your credit. Keep records of what you spend. I know that some of the assistance programs, insurance companies, some of them will reimburse you for the cost that you've had to come out of pocket because of the disaster. So just make sure you keep a record of that. Access assistance programs. So they have, with that one, like shelters. So if your home was damaged, you can contact the local shelter if you're needing assistance with food, the local food banks, and then maybe like your church if you go that route. A lot of churches have programs for that as well that help. Protecting your money. Get and receive, get and review your credit reports, contact your financial institutions, contact Department of Motor Vehicles, find a safe place for financial information, cash, and other valuables, and contact the post office. We're just going to go over them a little more in detail. So protecting your money, they have that on there. You can go to annualcreditreport.com to get all 3 credit reports for free. There is a course that Money Smart has about credit, so if you want more details on that, that is a good resource for that, and you can get them for free. Here in Texas, you can get all 3, but how you get them, you want to look into that. Look into the details on when to get them and spacing them out maybe, but you'll look at, if you go to the course, it'll give you more details on that. So that's a big one for me. And sometimes your financial institutions, if you're having a financial difficulties, I know that some of them have like COVID-19 programs to assist their clients. So if you call, you're having issues with that right now, contact your financial institution and see if they have any programs that they can help you with, or like for fees or anything like that. They may be able to assist you with those. Let's see. So for the driver's license, if you lost it or it was damaged, to get that replaced, you want to go ahead and contact that department so that they can assist you with that. Find a safe place for financial information, cash, and valuables you took with you if you evacuated. So in a hotel room, for example, if you have that cash that you had for emergencies, making sure that you put that in a safe place because people are going to be in and out of your room, and your other valuables as well. That's what they're referring to with this one. And then also contacting the post office. So maybe you need to change your address temporarily, then you want to contact them to make sure that your information is not going into the wrong place. Be proactive. First, contact the company directly. Then, if contact the regulatory agency considering filing a complaint with the state regulators or state attorneys general. So for this one is they're talking about if there's something wrong on your credit or if you're having a dispute with like a company, this is what you do. It's just to be proactive, contact them, let them know, because it could be that they don't even know that whatever they did was not right, and give them an opportunity to make it right for you. Or if they don't, then you can also turn them into their regulatory agency. Almost every company is regulated by someone, and if you contact the person who regulates them because they were not able to make whatever the situation was right, then you just escalate. You can escalate by filing a complaint with the state regulators or state attorney general's office. So this one right here are just the steps to my financial recovery. So this is just for you to do at your leisure if you like, so that way you can make it be specific and apply it to yourself, and hopefully it'll assist you with your recovery if you need it. Get help. So there are many organizations that are out there to assist you during this time. These are some of the ones that are listed, but like I said, you also can check your local organizations. Oh, they have it on there. Disasterassistance.gov, Federal Emergency Management Agency, FEMA, disaster recovery centers, local organized disaster relief and recovery meetings. So that way you have some support during that time too. So what they want you to know is that there's no single agency that does everything. So if you're needing help in a certain area, then just make sure you search for that. If you're needing help in multiple, then just look for that as well. You may not just get all your help from one organization. You may need to contact multiple in order to get your needs met, all your needs met. So they offer assistance, disaster assistance gov.gov. They do federal, tribal, state, local, and private sector partners. So what they do is they give money to local government agencies and nonprofits, so that way they can help the local community on that one. FEMA is the government regulated agency that helps during disasters, either natural or man-made disasters. So they do that. They suggest that you start with the disasterassistance.gov, and then FEMA's individual and household programs, which you can get more information about on their website. The Small Business Administration's low-interest long-term disaster loans, Department of Agriculture's disaster loans, Department of Housing and Urban Development's approved housing council agencies, and home preservation hotline. So those are some of the resources that they have. I know that if you guys heard about the SBA loans for small businesses, that's done through government agency. Watching out for scams. So on that one, like I said, if there's someone out there that is out there to make money, they don't care if you're having a hard time. They have no mercy. They take advantage of the situation. So we have to watch out for that. Not everyone who offers help during disaster is a legitimate source of help. Be on the lookout for scams by people who are taking advantage of the situation. Protect yourself by being cautious. Be selective when you hire or accept help. I think a lot of that with the contractors. There was one gentleman who was sending money in Western Union to a contractor. I think it was in North Carolina or South Carolina whenever the tornado hit. His home was damaged pretty badly, and I think he lost like 2,500 because that was a deposit for him to get started on the work. But of course, him being here in Texas and him being in South Carolina, he didn't know if that work was actually going to be done because he's not physically there. So just be aware of that. If it's not in person, they won't just send money Western Union, MoneyGram, the dreaded prepaid cards, anything like that. Those are to be cautious. If they send you a check and ask for you to send some back, or the check is way more than what you actually needed or asked for, those are things to be on the alert for. Those are red flags there. To avoid scams, get and check references. Ask to see state or local permits. Don't pay in full up front or even a deposit, depending on how much the deposit is, unless you know they're actually going to do the work. Get and keep receipts. Don't pay for services that should be free. And that comes with just knowledge. By just going and doing a little bit of homework, that'll save you a lot of money with that. I know that we have a lot of business customers coming in and saying that they paid to file this and that and the other, and some of that stuff they could have done on their own for free, but yet they paid $500 for someone to do it when it could have been a free service if they would have done a little bit of homework in advance or asked a couple more questions. Let's see. So for inspections, they're talking about that because when you have a disaster and your property is damaged or your home, the government actually will have an inspector come out for free. But I'm pretty sure there's probably guys that are out there that know that people don't know that those are offered free through the government, and they prey on that and they charge for inspection. So that's just an example of a scammer just taking advantage of the situation. More tips to avoid scams. Research the organizations you're not familiar with just to make sure that they are legit. Protect your information. Monitor your credit reports. Read scam alerts and report scams. So that way they won't take advantage of other people. Avoid sharing your personal information, such as your social security number, bank account information, and personal information. Always keep personal and financial information in a safe place. Stop or forward your mail if you're not able to pick it up at decent times, like maybe less than like once or twice a week, because whenever it builds up, there are guys that go out there and look for that, and then they go and take your mail, or they know you're not home and then they can rob you. So just watch out for those kind of things. Credit reporting agencies, also called credit bureaus or credit reporting companies, make credit reports. You have the right to one free credit report every 12 months from each of the 3 nationwide credit reporting agencies. If you're receiving public assistance, you may be able to access free credit reports more frequently than that. The only website authorized to fill orders for free annual credit reports you're entitled to under the law is www.annualcreditreport.com. That's the one that we talked about earlier. Read scam alerts and report scams on that one. The Federal Trade Commission, FTC, maintains a running list of scams at www.scammer.ftc.gov/scam/alerts. I don't even know if I want to look at that. I'd probably be too paranoid. There's already so much stuff that I see at the bank. But it'd be nice to know what's going on out there, and so that I can be on alert for to protect our customers. You can also report the scams on their website as well. So you can see what scams are going around and also report if you're a victim or a target of a scam. That way they can look out for it and to protect someone else from that. Spotting red flags. This is just a scenario that you can go through if you like at your leisure. Adjust your financial picture after disaster. So after that, they just want to make sure that you understand that it's not it's a slow process. It's going to take time and it's going to be bumpy. So just allow yourself room for error and be kind with yourself. It takes time. Just be gentle and patient with it, and don't be too hard on yourself as far as not doing it fast enough, because everyone's going to do it at a different pace depending on what happened to them and what's still happening to them. So just be patient. Take time to grieve and get used to your new reality. So if you just lost your home in Louisiana and you have to readjust and move here to Austin, that would be a big move. So realize that's going to have an emotional toll on you. And so you may not want to work on some of this stuff just right away, because you still have to work on the emotional part of losing your home. Review and adjust spending and savings plans. So you may have, let's say you had a better job wherever you were and you had to move, and you were able to save $500 a month with your other job, but now with this one, you're not making as much. So you may not be able to put up 500. It may be like 50 or 100 or 20. As long as you're putting some money up and then that works with your budget, then that's fine. You do what you can do as long as you're trying. You're making a good effort. You're trying. You have a plan. You're sticking to it. That's good. Contact your lenders. So you want to contact them and let them know your situation. So let's say at first you were not able to pay anything on your loans, and now you can pay $20 a month. So you can contact them and say, hey, I'm sorry I wasn't able to pay before, but I'm getting back on my feet. I can afford to pay you guys $20 a month. Will that work? And see if they'll work with you. You'll be surprised. Some of them are pretty agreeable. It just depends on who the lender is. Let's see. Contact your financial institution. The same thing on that one. Get and review your credit reports, because after a major disaster, there may have been some things that you weren't able to take care of financially. So you want to see how that affects your credit. If there's any reports on there, anything that's maybe not accurate, and dispute those things. Just make sure that you have that they have an accurate reporting of your credit. Set new goals and make plans to reach them. And so with a major disaster, that's a big upset in your life. So you may have had a goal, let's say, to go on vacation. So with this, having that financial setback, that may not be a goal. You may have to have a goal of, hey, I need to save money to purchase another vehicle. And so it's going to change because of the situation, that you're adjusting those to whatever your needs are at the time. And then make a plan to reach them. I know for one of the lessons we talked about SMART goals. I don't know if anyone's had a chance to look at those, but those will help you make your plan come true. So if you guys look at that, that would be a good thing to look at to make sure that your goal is attainable, reachable, so that way you're more likely to make it happen. Develop an initial plan to recover financially from a disaster. Watch out for scams. So this one is just for you after going through the lesson, for things for you to think about. What will I do? How will I start it? Will I share my plans with anyone? If so, who? So that you can apply what you learned today and put it into action. So heaven forbid if something were to happen to you, you kind of have a starting point. Maybe you have, You've done the bug out bag. Maybe you found a really good hiding spot for your emergency funds, and you'll be ready for that. All right. So that is the lesson over disaster and financial preparation and recovery.